Welcome to Align Trading. Today I'm going to be going over 1 minute entries and exits within the microstructure and the algorithms. Like I usually do on the weekends, I ask members, what do you want me to cover in a video? And this is what we got for the weekend. As he's saying, he can see the algorithms, he can see the microstructure, but when it comes down to his stop loss and his exact entries, which is the bread and butter, he wants to clean them up a bit. So that's what I'll be covering today is how to get those precise entries on the 1 minute chart and adjust and manage your stop loss accordingly within the microstructure. Like he was mentioning with the squiggles and how he can see the algos and the structures, but he wants to clean up the entries. I'm going to show you an example. So this is from the day, and I posted right here to be looking for if we form this resistance right here, as well as this shoulder you can see here, but we also have this other shoulder. So if we wanted to start heading back down here, we would have first needed to see this, right? We have this shoulder right here. And then from there, if we once again started doing this, you see how we can grab that, but we do not head down. And I'm going to explain why. And then later on, how the move starts to form right here. Now, I do have it from a more real-time point of view, which you can go look at in the description, which I show how the algorithms are forming and the microstructure within them. But back to that first example. So I'm explaining here to be looking out for this head and shoulder right here. Now, there are more entries than just this larger one that I draw, right, with this squiggle right here. You have to also see within this, you see this head and shoulder right here, this previous resistance. You see that right there, and you get this rejection with that wick right there. So that could have been your first entry. Now, it did come fast, so if you missed it, what do we also have within here? Once again, an inverse cup and handle. You see it within this white algorithm, and you see this is a head and shoulder once again. Now, from there, say you missed that trade as well, there is another larger inverse cup and handle within this white algorithm once again. You can see that this handle right here is about a $2 range. So if you were entering down here, well, of course, it is going to hit your stop loss. So this is where the entries matter, right? Now, we see that if you miss this first trade up here, you can see we close this inverse cup right here. So right here, once we close it at this level, you do not want to be adding into this right here. And instead, if you had position up here, you can take some off and protect your position. So now with this inverse cup, you are seeing this handle right here with this green, and we reject off of this previous resistance and this shoulder right here. Now you could have taken it off of this shoulder right here, but once again, your stop could be either above this right here, or you could have it above a little bit higher, maybe above these right here. Now, like before, you can see you have to take some off if you took that trade at this previous low, completing that inverse cup, because what do you see here? There is no follow through, and instead we start to reverse right here and form this inverse head and shoulder. Even though this trade did not continue moving down right here, grabbing this liquidity and completing this inverse cup, it could still be a very green trade, even if it hits your stop loss right here, because off of this shoulder you see, this is still a 60-cent move to the downside, and you see that you would have protected at this inverse cup right here. Just off that shoulder, your stop loss is above here, and once you protect that trade down here, you can now move this stop loss up here, down some, and make sure that you're going to be break even on your runners, maybe slightly even in the green. That is where you get to decide. Now, right here, we do see that your stop loss would have been hit, but say, for example, this did not reverse, might feel like you missed the trade, because remember, we still are looking for this handle right here, even though we did form this one right here. we can still be forming this larger one within the white, which we ended up doing. And we'll talk about this head and shoulder in a minute. So back to what I was saying, if this did not move up right here, what could you be looking for within here to see that we are going to head down and not get that? Well, you see this inverse head and shoulder starting to form right here. You notice that there was this previous shoulder to the downside. Now we are holding above it right here. You can see not even these candles right here. So once we do try to break down again with some stronger selling, you can see that we do not and maintain this pattern right here. You would have needed to see this get taken out right here. And once again, this smaller inverse cup close, hold below that pink right there, and then from there can continue down. Now, if that did happen, what I was saying, you could set your stops like this. So we have this inverse cup. You see one or two candles right here forming that resistance. You could take your entry right here and set your stops above here. This is about a 25-cent stop loss right there, and you have a lot of potential to the downside with this that you're looking for and this inverse cup to close. So the risk to reward is there, but you do realize that if this breaks back above and we once again are holding this, that you probably don't want to continue to be in that trade, and you can once again wait for, say, something like this that does form right here, and you see this larger inverse cup and handle once again, and there's even a head and shoulder within that. It's hard to see, but that gives that move down right there. Now, before we cover the entries to the downside, if you did want to take this inverse head and shoulder right here, you could set your stop loss below this, and your entry is right here off of that shoulder that you see, giving you this trade right here. But once again, you would need to protect at this previous resistance right there, as you are seeing it starting to form those top wicks. Now, as I'm explaining here, to be looking out for this inverse cup to close right here, or to be looking for this reversal if we head back up and grab that shoulder, completing this cup and handle right here. So that is the larger picture, right, that I'm drawing, but you do need to be able to understand where your entries are. So if we were to head back up right here and we start holding this pink line, well, there can be your entry, and you could set your stops back below right here, because if we head back down from here, well, you see that we can form this head and shoulder within this white algorithm, right? But with that inverse cup and handle, you have to understand and be able to see this right here. And there are a couple entries right here. So we have this previous resistance that you can see for this shoulder. Now you could have took this entry right here, or waited for, once again, this inverse cup to close at this level. You could have had position right here, right? Your stop loss can be set back above this, and from there you could look for the protect. Now you see this handle, and that head and shoulder we were talking about could take more position here and look for that continuation. Now we're starting to see that it's chopping and we're getting some tapering. So right there, you can take off more position and once again set your stop loss above this right here, because if we do regain that, well, you can see that we might start heading back up right there and grabbing this like that. Now, with these trades that we looked at above, you can see that there is a clear microstructure, and it is a lot easier to see within it rather than something right here where, yes, could you technically trade it, but should you? No. Yes, there's this head and shoulder you can see right here, but we're just chopping right here. You see this inverse head and shoulder. These are probably not trades that you want to be taking. Wait for it to break out of this taper or break out of this. So right here, if we did head down, you can see that we would want to have formed this, retest that low, and then once again grabbed that shoulder right there that you can see and continue closing that inverse cup, but you're seeing us curl and that taper right here. Now, say that you were not looking for such a small entry like the ones that we went over here, entries like this, but you were rather looking for a little bit wider of a stop loss and a larger structure right here. Well, you see this forming right here, this inverse cup and handle. You could be looking for an entry off of it right here. So once you are below this red line, you could take some position somewhere in here, set your stop loss back above this, right? This is obviously, like I'm saying, if you're having a wider stop loss and you're looking a bit longer, because you see, you could look for this down here. Now, once you see this tapering, you could be taking some off, still be very green on this trade, and have your stop loss move down so that this does happen and we break back above right here, you can be out of that position, but still have a green trade and not be worrying about it on such a smaller picture. But this is going to be the most precise. So we'll take a look at one more example here. So with this cup that we filled right here, you can see how we're starting to form this handle right here with the yellow controlled selling, as well as this tapering within the white algorithm still, and we're not seeing this break back down. But how do you find an entry in all of this mess? So if you are going to take a trade in this, this is not a good thing to be trading. You probably want to just wait. But if you are going to, because you are seeing this larger picture right here, like we're explaining with this cup and handle, you can see this inverse head and shoulders starting to form right here. We have 1, 2, 3 touches for this shoulder. We get this move below and instantly rebound back. Now, once you see it bouncing at this previous shoulder, the support once again, and you do decide you are going to take this, well, you see how your stop loss can be, right? Your entry is down here. This is only about a 25-cent stop loss once again at these lows. So if this trade does work out, you have this upside for this smaller cup once again that you can see. There's also this within it and this yellow. Now, once again, another entry with this inverse head and shoulder. If you took that right there, you could once again set your stop loss below here or this previous resistance once again. So say that this did come down right here and then continued up like it did, and that ultimate target of this larger cup right there. So there are often several trades within a single microstructure that you can take and still be profitable or be able to manage your risk so that you can get out for a small loss, a small win, and get in on the other side once you see it confirm. But that is going to wrap up the video. Members, as always, feel free to shoot me a message to review and go over more in depth. But thank you guys for watching.